Well, hello, retail traders. I'm Washboardjim with a sneaky snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And I'm going to talk about a chart pattern right now and how to play a head and shoulders. I'm going to explain the definition of a head and shoulders, and then I'm going to chart one up for you. We had one in Apple, and I had this already charted out, and I think you can go back in my video and look at it. But we're going to go ahead and talk about how you could find a resistance level and know maybe the possibility of when to get out of a trade. So a head and shoulders, a pattern in a stock, which is technical analysis formation that signals a potential reversal in an uptrend. The characteristics by three peaks, and central, a high peak, the head flanked of the two lower peaks, which is the right and left shoulder. This pattern suggests that the bullish momentum is weakening and a downward price movement might be imminent. So we're going to go ahead and look at a couple of diagrams here in the image of what a head and shoulders looks like. And I totally like to play the pullbacks on these, and I like to know when resistance is if we do break one. So for example, we have the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. And as you pull up the images, you can see where the neckline is, and that's right here on these two right here. But I'm going to draw it up just a little bit different and show you how to look for the precise resistance level where you can get out before others do, and you won't get stuck on maybe a fast knife or a fast correction. So this is the Apple chart, and as you can see, we're on the weekly time frame, and I called the resistance out at 231 even. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this up and show you where I like to get out of a trade. So let's clean it up. This is a weekly time frame, and as you can see, we've got two left shoulders, a head, and we just draw that shoulder line straight across on these here two left shoulders. Now I like to use the body. And I'm going to show you where maybe support is on this trade if you want to go back long in the trade. So I take my trend line, which is right here, and I'll run the start of it right on the body of that candle to the body of that one, and I'll extend that out to the right. We stopped right there at that 231 area. So that's your left shoulder, and we just now hit the right shoulder, which means we could pull back and find a support. Now we've got the neckline right here, so I'm going to draw a trend line all the way across using the body of that candle on the weekly time frame, and I'm going to extend that out to the right. So when we were coming up, I knew that trend line, that resistance level was going to be between the 226 and the 231 area, right at 231. So I'm going to do a price line all the way across, right on the body of this thing right here. Well, the body wasn't there yet, but I know that the trend line right here was going to be the body of that candle. So I'm going to put my little price line right there and put my other one right down below it. And I know between them two levels, we're using right on that mark on that there thing there, was either at 227 to 231. So the next support is going to be this candle right here to this candle right here, and I'm going to draw a price line all the way, a trend line all the way across from the body of that candle to the body of that one. Whoop. We're going to extend that out to the right. So I know the first support is going to be right here. It's going to be at 226 or right around the 222 area. And so let's go ahead and mark that in with a price line. I know it's going to pull back. At least I think it is. So your low support is going to be right there at 224, 224.71. Then your next one's going to be right there at 227. So I'm bullish on this stock. So when I come in Monday, I'm going to change the time frame on this right now. I'm using the bodies of these candles. See, we had an inverse head and shoulders right here. This is your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder, and your right shoulder. And I just drew that all the way across to find that low support. And if it decides to sell off hard and we have a correction, this 214 area is going to be your strong buy to go back long in this trade. And that's where we had all this month and a half of resistance level right around the 213, 214 area. So now I take this to the daily time frame, and that's about all I really need. And you can see all that congestion we had here in that 4-month period. It just couldn't break resistance, couldn't break resistance, it couldn't break resistance, it couldn't break resistance. Then finally we had the gap up off news where it did break the resistance and ran into this head and shoulders line. So remember, when you come up to a shoulder line of a head and shoulders, that's usually a hard resistance. It'll pull back and it'll retest the second time. Usually on the second time it might go ahead and break out. So keep that in mind when you buy the dip. You might want to run it back up to that shoulder line, scale out a couple, keep a little bit unstocked, just in case it decides to go ahead and break out. If not, you're safe. You know you hit a resistance level. So I like to look at the hour time frame next, and you can see the two different support levels right around that 227 area and right around that 224. Now I'll use each one of these moving averages if I'm trading a day trade or a swing trade on it and try to scalp it up to the upside. So now I'll take it to the 15-minute 5-day. And you see we have a triple top breakout right here. So I'm going to run me a price line or a trend line from the body of that candle to the body of that one and extend it out to the right. And that'll be coming right above the 200 SMA and EMA on the 1 hour time, 15-minute time frame. I was kind of wanting 5-day, but that's all right, 15-minute. Then we'll go to the 5-minute. Even the 5-minute says that that's a real strong support right around 222. Just in case it does pull back to that, that'll be a very strong support, and that's called a triple top. You got 1, 2, 3 triple top breakout. So when they do decide to pull back, it could pull back and find support off that triple top. So that's just a few ways of trying to find a support level, and I'd go back and watch this again, just kind of verify it. But that's called a head and shoulders resistance that we hit, and you can see it on the weekly time frame. Left shoulder, you got a two-headed snake, and then you hit that right shoulder, it pulls back, and then it comes up and retests that shoulder line and could break out. Now I'm going to do a trend line up here on top to find a hard resistance, and that hard resistance now could become support because that was a triple top right there. So that brings you back to where it pulls back to, and you could find some support right before you get to that 214 area. You might see 218 or something for your first entry if it decides to go ahead and have a correction. So that's it. Use the bodies of the candle. The wicks are a gift. If you use the bodies, you'll be more reliant on collaboration of consistency on the candlesticks. So this is the sneaky snake trading strategy, where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And again, the head and shoulders is a pattern that could show a tendency of having a pullback, but if you hit that shoulder line, this shoulder line to this shoulder line, and the thing breaks out, and it could pull back to the neckline of this stock right here. Here's a better diagram. That's called the neckline, and these are your left shoulder and your right shoulder. Now I always like to look for a double confirmation and then maybe break out on the triple. Same thing here. We pull back, we stop at the neckline, it comes back up, and if it breaks that resistance level of that right shoulder the second time, it could have a nice little bitty bounce and pull back and retest that shoulder line, and then you can run it to the top of the head for a double top. So everybody have a great day, and I'm live on YouTube. Hit that like, subscribe, and make a comment down below. This is the Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy, where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now.